Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to give you your February 2016 mid-month readings. I continue to use the Gilded Tarot deck, drawing 8 cards for the month, 2 cards for each week, with an additional card as your overall theme and general feeling of the month, the crowning card. These are general readings, as I always like to say, so if they don't apply or resonate the same with everyone who watches, I suggest you check your rising and your moon sign as well. A special thank you to those of you who are keeping me so busy with personal readings. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. It is both an honor and a pleasure to do so. Thank you. And to those of you who continue to watch and follow and listen and subscribe, great big huge thank you for that. It's very appreciated. And thank you for your wonderful and positive comments and feedback. For those of you who are interested in personal readings, you can click on the About button on my channel's homepage, and that will give you a little more information and detail on myself, the services I offer, and my contact information. And you can email me at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I am running a variety of specials on love readings this month in honor of Valentine's Day. So again, if you're interested, you can just email me. So let's get started. This reading is for Cancer for February 2016, mid-month. Let's see what the remainder of February 2016 holds for my Cancerians. The crabs, my watery, deeply emotional crabs. What does the remainder of February 2016 hold for you? Cancer, February 2016, mid-month. That's it. Okay. We begin with the Four of Wands, followed by the Death card, the Six of Pentacles, followed by the Six of Cups, the Page of Wands, followed by the Page of Pentacles, and the Star card, followed by the Eight of Wands. And I always pull a card from the bottom of the deck as your crowning card, the general overall theme and feeling of the rest of the month. And we have the Fool card, my favorite. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's begin. We have the Four of Wands, accompanied by the Death card, Major Arcana card. So the Four of Wands. Wands, the element is that of air and fire. And when you think about the elements of air and fire together, it's a very dynamic combination. And the suit of Wands is a very dynamic suit. It's all about change, movement, action, power. Now, the Four of Wands is a wonderful card to have. It speaks of unexpected blessings, of things that you're already looking forward to, or things that are already making you happy, or things that you are planning are going to work out for you, not just in the positive way that you anticipate them to, but it represents something being better than you expect, an unexpected blessing, an unexpected fortunate event or connection made. For instance, if you were getting ready to host a celebration or go to a party of some kind, and it's something you were looking forward to because you know that you're going to have a good time and you know everyone's going to be happy, something actually happens there to make it even better than you anticipated. Perhaps you make a very positive connection that you weren't anticipating, or something that you're planning, something that you're putting together works out bigger and better in an unexpected sort of way. The Four of Wands also speaks of it kind of has a happy home and happy family, contented sort of feeling. The implication being that whatever this is that happens that turns out to be better than you anticipated, something happening unexpectedly, which feels like a real blessing for you, also has the added benefit of contributing to your home and your family life in some way. There's an improvement in something to do with the foundational way that you live. I often see this card uh, as a card of expansion in terms of something that you're already building, something that you're creating, even a celebration that you may be getting ready for. and there's just something that comes in, something unexpected. But I'm actually right now feeling like this is actually something that has to do with your home and your family in some sense, and that it's really going to be a blessing, almost as if there's an expansion of your home or your family somehow. Not exactly in a pregnancy sort of way, but it's just something I feel that's working out around your home or your family, and it's kind of it feels like it's something you're already working on, but something that actually, I don't know if you get extra resources coming in or extra assistance coming in, but something about it is going to work out in a better way than you anticipated, and it's going to be fairly unexpected. Now, the Four of Wands is accompanied by the Death card, Major Arcana card, Fingers of the Divine, as I like to call them. And the Death card represents transformation. It represents the end of a cycle, the end of something, the death of something, so that the rebirth can occur. Because rebirth always follows death. When the forest burns down, it begins growing again immediately, and typically more lush and abundant than before. The Death card can signify the end of something and the beginning of something beautiful and new and very positive. It represents some major changes. It is a major arcana card, so it represents that whatever's going on for you, Cancer, around the middle of February 2016, it looks like whatever this unexpected occurrence is that happens, something that you already have or something that you're working on or planning, um, that you already have a good feeling, a good positive feeling about, something comes in, something unexpected to kind of expand it, to kind of, uh, I almost want to say blow it up somehow, but in a very good, very positive, very wonderful sort of way. And I have a feeling this, for the larger portion of you, this has something to do with your family or something to do in a way that benefits your family or makes your family more cohesive somehow. And it represents the death of something that you've been going through, and it feels like it's something that's going to be very transformative both for you and I think for a larger portion of you. Again, I'm getting people, either family or the people in your closest, most intimate circles. It's just going to represent a complete transformative change in your life. You know, it's interesting, Cancer. I actually don't often get this feeling off the Four of Wands, even though it's a beautiful, positive card. And it does depict, as you can see, it depicts a man and a woman and a child standing in a ring of wands, and there's a wreath above them, and it's a beautiful day. There's bunny rabbits, dragonfly flying overhead. It just kind of implies a very cozy, homey feeling, but I don't often get quite the strong connection to family that I'm getting off of it right now. I really feel like whatever's coming in that feels very unexpected is just, it feels like a tremendous blessing, but there's a real feeling of family contentment somehow with this, of something to do with home expansion, family contentment, but it's going to be very transformative. It's something that's going to open you up to a whole, just a whole new avenue. And I feel like it's very rooted in family somehow, but it's going to represent the ending of something. So for some of you, this could represent, perhaps some of you are actually moving homes, or you're rebuilding something, or you could be traveling back to see family, although I'm not really picking up too much of a travel feeling off of this combination of cards, but something to do with your family roots. I don't know if perhaps somebody in the family comes into something and you use it to, I don't know, maybe renovate or rebuild your home or something like that. But it feels like whatever it is going to represent the ending of an old way of life and the beginning of a new way of life somehow. Very transformative, very powerful, very significant, very profound. Now, and of course, what that is going to resonate differently for different cancers this month. It's not entirely clear to me yet what it could be, but just something to do with family and home. And it looks to be very wonderful and very transformative. It's going to represent a new way of life for you. Now, that combination of cards is followed by the Six of Pentacles, accompanied by the Six of Cups. Now, the Six of Pentacles. Pentacles, the element is that of earth, and Pentacles is a suit that typically points towards are things in our earthly, tangible environment, things we can see and touch and feel. Most often that manifests in the form of money, finances, resources, property, assets, job, that sort of thing. And the Six of Pentacles can speak of giving or receiving of a gift in a very philanthropic sort of way. The Six of Pentacles can also point towards being a little too careless, perhaps, or carefree with what you're giving away, whether it's your money, your actual physical resources, your money, or your time. As you can see, the man in this picture is tossing pentacles out the window, and he has them to spare. He's dressed very luxuriantly. He's got two scales, and it looks like he has an abundance with which to throw out the window, which is exactly what he's doing. But if you really look at the card, he's not really paying attention to where they actually land, if they're actually going to the people that are reaching from them. You can see these pentacles are falling out of the window and there's some hands reaching up to catch them. But he's not really paying attention to where they're going or if they're actually going to the right place. And this can speak of also perhaps being a little too careless or carefree or a little unintentional about where you're putting your resources and your time and your efforts into. The underlying theme of this card could, for some of you for whom this resonates, could be that you are giving of yourself, giving of your time, giving of your money, giving of your resources, but in a way that needs to be more intentional. The underlying advice to this card with that understanding is that you need to pay attention to perhaps where you're putting your money, where you're spending your money, and if it doesn't reflect his actual finances, it could be your time, your efforts, your love, anything like that. For others of you, this is going to actually represent the getting or giving of a gift in some way, and it's very beneficial and very positive. Now, the Six of Pentacles is paired with the Six of Cups, which is a card primarily about nostalgia and reminiscence. It's about looking back. This is going to resonate a couple of different ways. It's about looking back on a time when perhaps you felt things were easier, things were more carefree, you were more naive about something. It can point towards looking back at a time where you didn't feel like you had the burdens and cares and concerns that you have now, Cancer. This can also speak very strongly of family, family roots, and family foundations. And again, I'm kind of getting a connection between that Four of Wands and the Death card, which we began February 2016 mid-month with. It feels like, I think for some of you, this is going to resonate as getting an actual, this unexpected blessing or this thing that you were anticipating that turns out to be better than you thought it would, that represents a complete transformation of an old life into a new life, an old way of living into a new way of living. For some of you, this is going to represent as getting perhaps an actual gift from family, or perhaps there's a settlement of an estate and you are gifted with a certain portion of that. And it actually has it proves to be very transformative in both you and your family's life, because again, I'm getting a very strong family connection with this. Um, And for some of you, this thing that occurs is going to represent perhaps, I think, travel or a trip, as the sixes can also point to movement and travel as well. And you do have two of them together. This can point to whatever it is that happens, this unexpected blessing, this transformative event that really proves to be such a boon and a blessing to you and your family, is something that's involved with taking a trip back to see family or taking a trip back to your foundational roots somehow. And it looks to be just a really great transformative sort of thing. And perhaps this can also represent, for some of you, this can represent the reconciliation of family members or the reconciliation of a relationship within your family that you once thought was irreconcilable or broken completely. And there's a coming together of some kind, or reaching out and an accepting of some kind that helps bring a family back together again, reunite certain members of a family again in a way that's very positive and very blessed and very transformative. Um, Again, there must be somebody out there who needs to hear that. I have a very good feeling about that. I mean, it's kind of it feels very significant and very profound, but also at the same time, very sweet. There's a lot of positive, contented family harmony sort of energy about this. For some of you, and I think it's a smaller portion of you, This combination of the Six of Pentacles and the Six of Cups is going to represent, I think, a piece of advice, and to be a little more intentional about where you're spending your time, your money, your resources, your attention, and make sure it's going where you want it to go and that it's actually doing some good and doing some benefits. Perhaps this blessing that occurs, this unexpected thing that proves growth and expansion and is so transformative in the beginning for you, or around right around the middle of February 2016, puts you in such a space that you just start giving things away willy-nilly. Perhaps it's you giving to family members. But the cautionary piece of advice, again, is to be intentional about where you're giving of yourself, time, energy, love, money, resources, finances, and make sure that you're being intentional about where they're going so that they do the most benefit and the most good. Now, following that, we have the Page of Wands, accompanied by the Page of Pentacles. Now, the Page of Wands, again, we have that dynamic, fiery, passionate suit of wands, and pages can represent young people or actual children in your life. And for some of you, it could be that this expansion, even though I'm not getting a pregnancy feel, too much of a pregnancy kind of feel for this, but you know, for a small portion of you, this could resonate as children coming into your family somehow, either through birth or through adoption, or something like that. And pages can also represent messages and messengers. When you think about the role of pages in the medieval world, they were often the ones sent out as runners to deliver messages between people. And the Page of Wands would represent a message, a very dynamic sort of message. They're pages, so it would have a younger, maybe somewhat immature, youthful, enthusiastic, exuberant energy about it. When you think about a puppy versus a grown dog, the energy is entirely different. Very cute, very contagious almost. The Page of Wands would be bringing in a message that implies some kind of movement and action of some kind. It would be very fiery, very emotional. The interesting thing is that it's combined with another page, which is the Page of Pentacles. Again, pentacles being that suit of the earthly, tangible things we can see, touch, and feel together. The Page of Pentacles would be coming in with a message or messages about something to do with the suit of Pentacles. I really feel like this combination of cards, Cancer, this combination of cards represents messages coming in, information coming in that's going to bring with it some kind of idea about, again, expansion of something that proves to be perhaps financially prosperous or lucrative. It could be the beginning of a business, a new job offer, but it looks like there's some kind of message coming in about finances. Perhaps those of you for whom received a windfall, and that's what this unexpected blessing is that expands and benefits your home and your family somehow. Is something to do with uh, and directly following this. It's kind of funny. We have these two-page energies, and I'm almost stumbling over my words because, you know, channeling the energy makes me feel kind of like a 15-year-old. So I feel like whatever this thing that occurs for you around the middle of the month that's so unexpected and such a bigger and better blessing than you ever anticipated. For some of you, it's going to resonate as messages being brought in regards to some kind of the financial or some kind of lucrative building up of something, and it's just accompanied by ideas and how to implement them, and there's just an air of kind of excitement about it, as if, okay, we've begun this thing and it's very small, but this is how we're going to do it, and everybody's really on the same page and enthusiastic and just wanting to move ahead with it. There's a lot of it feels very young and youthful and enthusiastic and very promising and very hopeful. For some of you, this unexpected boon, or for those of you for whom this represents an actual gift of finances or some kind of monetary abundance of some kind, you're just full of ideas and messages about what you're actually going to do with it, how you're going to put it into action, how you're going to make it benefit you and your family and perhaps other people as well, and also how to make it expand and make it grow, whether it's money you have coming in or a new business you've started or a new job or something like that. But I'm getting just a very strong feeling of fast, excited messages, information about how to build on something and make it better, and also how to implement it as well. It's a very high rate of energy, and again, it feels very like puppies kind of running around and jumping all over each other. Very passionate, very exciting, a lot of creativity, a lot of intuition. It's an interesting combination, wands and pentacles, because you have earth energy on one side and air and fire on the other. And it looks like it might be a bit of a fun and interesting challenge to try and balance those energies out and walk a harmonious path in between them. But it looks like whatever it is, feels very exciting and very promising. And it looks like it has the potential to really be built on in a great way down the road. If this is a project that you're beginning or a new business that you're beginning, it looks like it's off to a roaring start. And that it really has a lot of potential to pay off at the end. So at or towards the end of the month, we have one of my favorite major arcana cards. We have the Star card in the upright position, followed by the Eight of Wands. So the Star card is a card about hope and faith. It's about having hope and faith. If I were to attach one word to this card, it would be faith. This speaks of restoration and healing. This speaks of, faith, basically. You can see that there's a beautiful woman on the front of this card, and she is unreservedly pouring her pitchers out into the water with the absolute faith and absolute confidence that her pitchers are going to be refilled because the source is limitless. This speaks about having faith in the hope and promise of things to come. This speaks of healing and restoration and harmony and wholeness and integration, and having faith that the wheel is on the upswing for you. And it's interesting because I see this card come up often in readings for people when they've been through something traumatic or even cataclysmic or something very challenging, difficult, painful. And I usually see this card come up when they're towards the tail end of that, or like at the end of a long therapy process, or when they're just coming out of a long period of hardship, and they're just kind of, it's the image is like coming out of the cave into the sun, and you're looking around and you're starting to feel more uplifted, and yeah, believing in that promise, believing that things are going to be turning in the positive way for you again, that the wheel is on the upswing for you, and having faith and hope in the promise of things getting better, of things actually working out for you. It's a card of faith, of having faith in that, of having faith in your spiritual structure, God's spirit, the divine, and in your own creative intuition, and being able to give again, to open back up again, and to give of yourself unreservedly because you know you're going to be refilled again and again. And there's a very strong connection to the divine in this card as well. And I'm actually feeling, Cancer, like, perhaps some of you have actually, I'm looking at this Four of Wands and the Death card that we began with in terms of whatever this thing is that's happening that's unexpected. Perhaps maybe something you had an idea on or something that you've been starting. It represents, again, we have this Death card, it represents the ending of something, and I'm getting a way of life, some kind of the ending of a way of life, or the way that you were living day to day somehow. Again, I'm not sure how this is going to resonate. It's going to be different for different ones of you. This is maybe could represent the end of financial hardship, the end of some kind of long emotional struggle. Of course, financial hardship would include that as well. But it appears to be very transformative, almost as if you've just come through a long, painful slog of something. You're coming out of a tunnel into the light again, and it looks like there's some kind of tangible blessings that are coming with it too, be it actual finances or property or a job offer, maybe for somebody who's been unemployed for a long time. And that it has a very strong connection to blessing and benefiting not only you, but your loved ones, your family members. And right on the heels of that, as we're recapping, we have all this information and messages and new ideas coming about how to build on this thing, how to make it grow, how to make it expand. The beginning of putting things together and being intentional about it and taking action and beginning to actually set things up. Perhaps those of you who were looking to start your own business or a new entrepreneurial project, perhaps you just got the fundings or a grant or a loan or something about it. And now you can take all these ideas you have about building it into something prosperous and actually begin to act on it and be intentional. There's just a lot of excitement and enthusiasm and newness about it. And at or towards the end of the month, Cancer, of February 2016, it leaves you in a place where you're feeling with this beautiful, beautiful star card. Very hopeful and very faithful, and there's something, or having faith, and there's something about it that's restoring your faith in the divine, restoring your faith in your own intuition, restoring your faith that good things are possible for you, that the promise of that, having faith in the promise of wonderful things to come, that this is really going to be something you can build on in the future. And the star card is accompanied by the Eight of Wands. Again, that dynamic, fiery, passionate, movement-oriented suit. The Eight of Wands is all about communication, a swift, profound communication. You can see these wands have already left their destination. This is something already in progress. Excuse me. And I always feel like when they hit, they're going to hit with some force because it looks like they're coming down with a lot of speed. And that's what I get off of this card, the Eight of Wands. It's about communication coming very swiftly, very profound. It's going to have a very significant, excuse me, and profound impact when it comes. And it's going to further bolster, this combination of cards, this communication, whatever the nature of it is about this process you're going through, this thing you're trying to build on and expand. There's going to be some very swift and significant communications about it. And the image I'm getting in my head, and again, following both of these page energies together, it's almost like this really fast conversation, kind of everybody kind of talking and speaking together. And there's just something about the entire thing that represents this death of an old way of living, this death of a set of ideas, of belief systems, perhaps, that's so transformative. It's just almost feels like it's catapulting you into something new, but something also, again, I'm getting this family connection too. And out towards the end of the month, there's just a lot of communication and conversation about it. And it has such a hopeful and faith-filled feeling. And there's something about it that feels healing too, that this process somehow is healing for you, or healing something that you've been recovering from, whether it's, again, like unemployment, a job, a family rift, a relationship, financial hardship, or maybe a combination of all of them. And it just is something that is healing and restorative to you and restores your faith. Um, restores your faith. So the crowning cards you got over your whole reading, the umbrella card, the card that represents the general theme and general feeling of the whole thing, is my absolute favorite card in the tarot deck. We have both of them in this reading, Cancer. We have the Star card and the Fool card, both my favorite two cards in the tarot deck. So the Fool, I love the Fool. The Fool is the Zero. He's the first card in the deck. Zero. This represents the beginning of the beginning. This represents the breath you take before the first step. Fool card represents complete new beginnings. Again, and I'm connecting it right back with this Death card. We have this Death card which speaks of the absolute ending of something, uh, uh, the absolute end, the death of a way of life, a way of living, a foundational mindset. And the rebirth is so transformative that it catapults you into this new beginning, because the crowning card, the general overall feeling is the Fool. It's the beginning. It's a complete new horizon, complete new beginnings. The Fool also speaks of the advice of not being quite so goal-oriented and quite so destination-oriented, because the Fool is all about dancing along this road, but he's about the carpe diem of it all. He's about enjoying the steps of the journey. For him, the fun, the excitement is all about the journey itself and not necessarily the destination. He's not so goal-oriented. The destination is off there. I'm not saying that you need to go the opposite negative way of the Fool, which would be to jump in the pool before making sure there's actually water in it first. The Fool probably isn't concerned with whether he's packed enough socks for the journey or not. He doesn't think about such things. And sometimes, particularly if this is in terms of money or business or finances or some kind, there is always a certain amount of planning that needs to go into it. But the advice of this card would be to enjoy the journey. Set your destination. And the Fool has a destination, and he knows he's going to get there when he's supposed to get there. He has the absolute faith and wonder and confidence of a child, of knowing he's going to get there when he's going to get there, and he doesn't worry about it. He's all about enjoying each moment on the journey. For him, it's about the journey, not the destination. So the advice, Cancer, for the remainder of February 2016, whatever this is actually about, however it's resonating for you, enjoy the journey, because it looks like it's going to be quite a ride. And again, I'm getting just a very fun, uplifting. Again, it's like you come out of this long, dark tunnel into the sun again, and it just feels very beautiful and light and warm and uplifting and restorative. I love to see people's readings end with the Star and the Fool. It's all about restoring faith, restoring confidence, restoring that connection with your divine, standing at the top of the steps that are overlooking a complete new horizon, a complete new life, and just enjoying every step of the way and enjoying every moment along the way. So, Cancer, what a wonderful reading, and how happy I am to be able to bring you such a reading. I hope that it resonated for you, or at least gave you a little bit of wisdom and insight and clarity, and hope and enthusiasm too, because that's how it made me feel channeling it. So again, if any of you are interested in a personal reading, you can click on the About button to get some more information about that, or email me at Maggie, the number one, McGuire at gmail.com. I am doing readings full time now, so at least for the time being, I can usually fit people in between 24 and 48 hours. So email me if you're interested in any of those. And until I see you again next month for your March 2016 reading, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thanks for watching, Cancer, and I'll see you later.